Lunge the Dinosaur, let us not go extinct. James Mandelaire, July 4th. And, like you, my heroes, I am tired of war. I am tired of the invisible oppression of the many for the sake of the excessively wealthy few. Lunge Obama for President 2012. Lunge for the future. Let us not go extinct party. Speech to the military of all countries. Hello, my heroes. I am deeply honored that you have allowed me to speak with you today. Thank you, my heroes. Thank you for allowing peace and freedom to exist in our world. It is your sacrifice and your lives that are on the line every day and every night. You keep us safe and you keep the terror at bay all around the world. I thank you, men and women in uniform, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, and reservists, Border Patrol, and police officers. You are all heroes and I honor you and your service. You have survived the horrors of war in foreign lands, and you have brought peace to troubled victims of killer storms, nuclear accidents, floods, tsunamis. You and all your brothers and sisters in every country in the world do all they can to keep the common man and woman and child safe in a dangerous and militant world ruled by thieves and gangsters who have drenched our world in the blood of thoughtless violence. I bow before you and I thank you with all the gratitude of my devotion to the perfected universe and the living loving light of pure being and to our great mother. Namaste, the Hindus say. I honor the light within you. But I have fought a different war, while you have stood on the battle lines in the desert sands and far-off jungles of the world. I have been fighting for peace and justice and freedom and equality on the poor streets and run-down avenues of this troubled land. I have fought for freedom of speech on the streets of towns all across this nation, singing my songs for free in clubs and coffee houses, singing for change out in the street. I sang for world peace in the parks and lawns of America so that you would not have to follow the deadly orders of your superiors who must also follow their chain of command to carry out the policies of the President as Commander-in-Chief, and the Congress, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Admirals and Generals, the Colonels and Majors and Captains, the Lieutenants and Sergeants and Corporals. You, who patrol the deadly skies and the dangerous seas. You who follow orders in the shadows seeking out the enemy far from help. You are young and you are brave and you are true. And sometimes you die and sometimes you have to kill to survive. And sometimes you get maimed for life and haunted by the horrors you saw. And I am so sorry that we have had to live out the dreams of brutal men with mechanized war. Perpetual war for profit of the weapons manufacturers and the Pentagon and the militant empire of multinational corporations. The politicians use you to win elections, preying on people's fears and bigotry. So you kill and die and are wounded, lifetime after lifetime down the centuries in the cycles of world violence that burns hotter and hotter as the dire consequences of endless brutality destroys our humanity. I have fought in another kind of war, an uncivil war fought by the wealthy against the poor, the creative and progressive against retrograde conservative fundamentalists, atheists against believers, lovers of the earth, mother against the industrialists, those who would embrace a better future for all the world against those who cling to obsolete elitist traditions of the past. I have been discriminated against and ridiculed, my heart wounded by fatal blows to my sacred way of creative life. I have been reduced to homelessness and abject poverty, left isolated and alone in a world of selfish beasts who cannot feel any empathy for anyone but themselves, perpetual victims of their own conceit. They have killed my spirit and broken my soul and crushed all hope. I suffered from the blood and fire of combat just like you. While bullets ripped into your skin and bombs shattered your bones, I waged a psychic war for the soul of a greater humanity and for the Earth Mother and all her children and for the future of the world I see in my visions. I painted paintings and wrote novels and sang songs of that greater world of peace and love within me. I wrote and wrote and wrote, all alone in a harsh and self-intoxicated world. I wrote about the dark side of chaos, about female divinity and the marriage of the goddess and the god. I wrote my heart inside out in poetry and was slandered and called a narcissist. I sacrificed family and friends for decades while I fought a long defeat in the dark dungeons of the anti-intellectuals in public schools, while the corporations opened privately owned prisons and waged privately owned wars over ancient sands of their precious oil fields. And I watched my fellow soldiers go down to alcohol, crack cocaine, pills and despair. I saw my leaders, my beloved spirit father John Lennon, gunned down in blood in the heartless dark streets of the megalopolis that stretches from New York to Florida. I was splattered with the young and innocent blood of my dear little sister, and I watched while the whole world headed for another mass extinction. I shouted out the warning in every way I could, and I was ridiculed, dismissed, ignored, laughed at, outcast and slandered and libeled by ignorant, brutal fascist fools and conceited artists who care more for image than imagination. I sang my songs of truth and was resented for my passion. And I watched the war on Islam kill off the future of a peaceful global community, and I watched the fires of hatred burn. War on drugs, war on the poor, war on women, war against minorities and war against gays, war against intellectuals, war against peace and love, war against the Earth Mother, war waged by the invested interests of the past against those who hope for a better future, the powerful against the powerless, generation pitted against generation by unjust laws against flowers. I fought it all my life. And, like you, my heroes, I am tired of war. I am tired of the invisible oppression of the many for the sake of the excessively wealthy few. I am tired of being forced to work for slave wages and low jobs because the door was always slammed in my face when I tried to be a teacher or a therapist or a mystic. I'm a worn-out and broken veteran of this 70-year uncivil secret war against the ancient goddess and her devoted followers. I'm angry at the fools who dishonor the mythic heroes of the past from all cultures, and I'm sick of the pundits and ignorant money-grubbing preachers who dishonor the Great Spirit with their vanity and materialism. And I cannot stand for another war that spills your innocent blood in foreign lands to safeguard the toxic industries of the petroleum age. What do you say? Would you like to never risk your young and precious lives again to violent death and disabling wounds? How would you like to be a soldier for peace and love? How would you like your service to your country to be an uplifting experience of bringing help to the whole world in order to save the future of the Earth Mother? We must give up state-sanctioned war for profit of the multinational complex of power-mad gangsters that are destroying our world in senseless violence and self-serving terror. I offer you a chance to clean up the toxic mess in all the countries of our poisoned planet. I offer you a chance to clean up the seas and clear the skies and heal the winds and the waters, the fires and the earth. You could use the collective power of your military to create huge solar projects in the deserts of the world and huge wind farms in the snowy mountain peaks of the world. You could put geothermal heating units in every house in the world. You could take the plastic out of the seas and build new clean and safe public transportation networks and make schools and hospitals and sacred spaces all over the world. You could build camping areas and parks to help us reconnect with sacred nature. You could show honor and tolerance and appreciation for other cultures and end the rule of violence with the good feelings of helping the powerless and improving the lives of the poor and ending the fear of guns and bombs and knives and fists. You could build stadium-sized indoor growing facilities and rebuild local communities, building new buildings to make housing free to all and good healthy food and drink to celebrate a life of peace and justice in a world that lives for today without worry for the future or undue reverence for the unevolved war and slavery past. We could live in a world that lives simply and shares everything equally. We could end greed and hunger and have nothing left to kill or die for. We could build a society that is humane and free and equal and that use the harmonious balance of nature to balance our human processes so that the earth can support our expanding human population without the threat of mass extinction. I'm a dinosaur who has seen mass extinction firsthand, and I'll tell you, it ain't pretty. With you behind us, we can save the future and rebuild a world built on peace and freedom for everyone, and you, my dear heroes, can make it happen. Will you lend your hand to make a better world for everyone, or will you continue to spread terror and fear at the bidding of your wealthy and powerful overlords? Stand up and demand a better future, my heroes, and you can use your bravery and your courage and your self-sacrifice to save the future of all life on this planet. Or you can continue to die in blood and fire or be permanently disabled and deranged, and use your power to kill and maim, and destroy all hope of a better world to come. The choice is yours. I hope you choose the future, but I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you, my heroes, and may the goddess of earth inspire your compassion, and may the great spirit within you protect and lead you into the ways of love and a world at peace. Let us not go extinct. Lunge for the future.